start on that though a little bit. How's preseason year 2 with the Royals? Any different from last year?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely different, obviously, personnel-wise. But I think I've been really complimentary so far, I think, of the quality. We brought in some, really good players, some great training players, and obviously more robust staff this year, which I think has just helped the overall experience. I've really been enjoying going to training. It's been super competitive from the get-go, which is sometimes hard to build in preseason, and sometimes it takes a little bit while to go in. But the group showed up this year and ready to ball out basically from day one. So it's been nice to be back.
Have you already noticed a difference with kind of some new, I don't necessarily want to say tweaks because that implies tactics and stuff, but just the new way that training works with a lot of new staff members? Have coaches like Emily maybe already kind of made an impact on the program?
Yeah, sure. I think it's more fluid. I think there's a bit clearer roles and responsibilities, which helps us as players kind of identify who's going to help us in each situation. So Emily and James have really taken on some of the IDP stuff. So if there's anything that I'm specifically wanting to get better at, it's kind of go to her, and because Jimmy's got a big job and he's got a lot of things to do. So I think it also helps take some of the load off his plate as well. But yeah, I think it's just a very cohesive unit in terms of the staff now, and which is better for them, and it's also better for us.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Kind of piggybacking off of that then, so it has freed up Jimmy, and he had an off season to prepare. Do you feel like he's been cooking up something special? Did we really see what Coach Jimmy is capable of that latter half of the season? Are we going to be surprised with some versatility and some changes?
Yeah, I think a little bit of both. I think last year, to be frank, it was Jimmy came into a program that was kind of made for him, and now I think he is the head honcho. He's now been able to dictate a lot of different things, just in terms of staff, in terms of players, and he's had an idea of what he wants to bring in. I think he's been able to do that. I think you probably noticed at the end of last season we were very stuck in, I think, to really one tactic, just in terms of build. It was certain formation. We would rotate up the right side and kind of bring me in as a little bit of a left center back. And I think he wants to be way more unpredictable this season. So, there might be still a similar shape to what we're trying to do or what we tried to do last year, but the way that we go about it could be different, which I think could be fun. But my favorite part, I think, that he's trying to do, and something he said to us in the preseason is, we want to be fun to watch. We want people to enjoy coming to our games, and we want it to be fun to play in as well. And of course, as a player, you love to hear that, because I know there were some times last year that it was difficult to play in, but I can remember at the end of the season, I was this game is probably really, really enjoyable for people to watch. And so I think the more that we have that, the better it is for us, but the fans as well are going to, I think, really enjoy watching us play.
I've only been to one training so far. I hope to see plenty more, but the one I did see, the game was much more beautiful just in the scrimmage.
Yeah.
So I expect the fans will really get a lot out of it. But also talking about newness and versatility, your back line potentially could be different. So far we're building out from the back here on these interviews. We've only talked to defenders like yourself, but what do you see as potential for that back line? Because you have a lot of versatile players who can move around. What are you looking at in terms of your tenure in the league and knowing what can be? What do you see?
Yeah, I think Jimmy does a great job of not bringing in players who are only stuck to really one position. Even for myself, I've been an outside player for years, and I think he, pushes me to be able to play in central positions. Maybe dabble at center back a little bit here and there, but I think we have versatile players like Kate Delfava used to play right back prior to coming here. She's been pretty steady center back now, but she still kind of has the ability to play right. Tatum Milazzo, very similar, play both positions. Anna Maria play both left and right side. So I think that is a really exciting part for me as a player, you never really know. I think the opposition isn't really going to be 100% sure on what they're going to see, and how, even if it is the same lineup, is it going to be the same tactic? Are we going to possess in the same way? Are we going to progress up the field in the same way? Keeping teams on their toes, especially in a long season, I think is really important, and it's what makes great teams great. And so for us to have that ability, I'm really excited about, and I'm really excited to see even how I'm going to personally be utilized within those systems.
We're excited as well.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
So how are the new players gelling with the team from last year?
I think pretty good. You know, we've got some more experience coming in, which has been fun. And so like different experiences from different clubs, I think are always really good to add in just to different perspectives. You know, Alex has been on Kansas City, she's been at Bay, Aisha, obviously we played against Tijuana, and so they all bring their own style, their own gameplay, and I think even personality-wise, I just think they fit in really well. They're pros like through and through. A lot of the new people that we've brought in, pros through and through, taking care of their business, and even last year, you know, I think our team, we always got along. Like, I think that was like one of our strongest things is like we always stuck together. And then to add more people and more experience now into that locker room, they're gelling really well, and I think it can continue to only take our team up from here.
Trey, anything?
I guess I'll ask another question. We talk a lot on the RSL side about, especially for summer transfers, how important like the first full preseason is. Obviously, it's Jimmy's first full preseason, and it's a lot of other people's first full preseasons. But how critical is, you know, that foundation for you and everybody else getting on the same page going forward for 2025?
Like the foundation of preseason?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's massive. I mean, we have a long time, but that is where you learn like your teammates' preferences. That's where you guys like learn to like click and get on the same page. And unfortunately, preseason's getting longer for us. But you know, it is a lot more time for us to gel, both on and off the pitch. Like I think is really important. But like just learning tendencies, like, you know, we're especially if we're going to have more rotation in terms of the roster this year, in terms of like who's in the starting 11 and who's not, the opportunity to learn tendencies of everyone from 1 to 26, I think is really important. And the more time we have to do that, the better. So yeah, I think coming in early, and we're a lot earlier than the majority of the teams in the league, but I think it does give us an advantage of having more time to gel, because we want to hit the ground running when March 15th rolls around. And so if we can have an advantage of having more time together to do that than other teams, I think that's what Jimmy was willing to take a chance on. And so, yeah, well, I think we're going to see it pay off 100%. But yeah, if you shorten that time down, it would be clunky throughout the season. So having preseason to do that, I think, is really important. Yeah.
So Paige and Mandy both got extensions this offseason. How is it knowing that you have players like them by your side for years to come?
Yeah, I think like both professionally and personally, I think it's really encouraging. I mean, two great people. I think they're leaders in this group. Obviously, Paige's captain, Mandy, stepped up for us, and she steps up for us all the time on the pitch. But I think having that consistency for the club is really important. Having two strong leaders for the club is really important, because, you know, obviously fans like buy into that as well. You want to be attached to players, but I think with Mandy even going into national team camp now, both of them are going to bring a lot of knowledge and a lot of experience, and people listen to them. And so, yes, like steadfast players, steadfast people, and both people actually that like I really enjoy being around and look forward to spending, you know, more years and as many as we can together.